so much for coming to my senior recital. I'm really excited to be here. I'm also terrified, but this is gonna be really fun. Before I start everything off with the whole recital and everything, I wanna give a few thank yous, so. So I wanna give a few thank yous to some people who over the years have helped me with my musicality and everything. So to my piano teachers over the years, Mrs. Jill Kopchik, who gave me lessons from first grade to my senior year of high school, and who gave me such a solid foundation of music theory and knowledge, as well as passion for music in general. Thank you. I don't know if she's watching, but thank you. To Dr. Douglas Jers from my previous school, Allegheny College, who helped me come out of my shell as a performer and a pianist. You helped me gain confidence as a musician and transformed my playing into something so much more meaningful than I thought it could ever be, so thank you. And to Dr. Raymond Kilburn here at BSU, who truly helped refine my skills and push me past the point of where I thought I would end up, showing me that I'm capable of so much more than I thought I could have ever imagined. Thank you. To my partner, Chase, who has always been by my side through my mental and emotional ups and downs, and always reminded me that nothing is impossible and that there is no shame in showing everyone who I've become as a musician and a person. Thank you. To my family, who have always encouraged me to pursue what I love in college, regardless of whether it gets me a job or money or security. Thank you, as we're all finding out. To Shawn, the drummer, who's stuck with me throughout this whole process, from recording last semester and even a year ago, and helped me achieve my dreams, thank you. And to Dominic, who has stepped in when Aiden Thurnow couldn't make it. He's only been playing with us for the past 2 weeks, and he's done a great job, so thank you. They're both so incredibly talented, wonderful people, and I truly could not have done any of this without them, so thank you both, thank you. I would not have experienced everything that I have over the past 5 years if I hadn't fully committed to pursuing music. And I'm so grateful to you all for the endless support and love that you have given, so thank you. Thank you. So as a way to calm my own nerves and make myself feel less like the spotlight is on me, even though this is my senior recital, I'm gonna do a fun little surprise musical activity with everyone, so give me 1 second. I need to breathe. Okay, so fun little musical activity. I should grab my guitar first. Oh no. Something had to go wrong with this. Okay, let me get situated. Okay. So we're situated in a funny way in this room. Everyone is over here. So I'm gonna split the room into, you guys are gonna be the left side. You guys are gonna be the middle, maybe like some of you can be this part, and then this part of you can be the right side. I'm gonna have this side of the room sing a note. Everyone's gonna sing a different note in a E major chord. So I'm gonna have do. If everyone over here can sing ooh, and sing louder. Ooh, there you go. And then everyone here, ooh, everyone here's gonna sing ooh, or a lower octave if you need to. Ooh, or if you want to do then everyone over here is gonna sing ooh, or if you want to sing ooh, you're gonna have to sing it loud because there are not a lot of you. There you go, yeah. Okay, good, yeah, cool, sweet. So I'm gonna move the notes around a little bit. So when I point to your section, you're gonna move the notes with me. So if you're singing ooh, when I do this, you're gonna do ooh, ooh. This is pretty self-explanatory. So let's try it again. You're saying ooh, 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 ooh. And everything. Get comfortable. And you guys keep singing the same note. Comfortable with that? So now I'm gonna have two of you do it at the same time. And sing louder. Never get quieter. Never sing louder. Come on. Okay. Louder. And up. Shawn on drums. I survived. So now, thank you. I'm going to talk about the songs in between each performance and kind of go through what this EP is all about. If it wasn't already given, the EP is titled Tangled Reality. And that first piece was She's Lovely. It's the first track on the EP. So yeah. This is very casual, by the way, like, you don't want to be silent to your song. Okay. So the EP is titled Tangled Reality. EP's titled Tangled Reality. And I wrote the first song for this EP in May of 2023, and I finished writing the last song in July of 2024, so it was about a year of songwriting and artistic creation that led up to the finalized version. So I didn't have any idea of a theme going into it. That's kind of how most of my musical processes go. I kind of just write a bunch of random songs, and then like a year later I'm like, oh, they kind of match a little bit. So that's what happened with this one. And so there are 5 songs on the EP. So Tangled Reality's main theme is the contrast between the positive and negative experiences in life and how those experiences come together to make you the person that you are. It's about how life is beautiful and messy and heartbreaking and confusing and uplifting and unexplainable, but in such a fulfilling way. Each song on this EP dives into that theme in different ways, and most of them have a positive perspective revealed at some point within the lyrics. I think this EP is based on my experiences during the past 3 to 4 years and the persistent optimistic outlook that I have come to have about my own life's path regardless of what I feel inside. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the EP cover art because I think it's fun. So this isn't actually the cover to the EP. I took a lot of different photos on my digital camera. Shout out to Chase for being the person that took those photos. It was very cold. It was like 30 degrees out this night. But this is on top of the Sursa parking garage, in case you were curious. But I had originally wanted the cover of the EP to be a sort of image of contrasting emotions, obviously because that's like the theme of the EP. So I had thought that I wanted it to be an image of myself crying but smiling at the same time, because I feel like that sort of represents the ideas in each of the song. But turns out it's really hard to make yourself cry on command. So some of the pictures that were taken so these are some of them. No. Guess there's no photos. Oh no.
Wiggle the cord. Yeah.
Technical difficulties.
Hey.
Okay. So some of the photos that were taken, I had some that were smiling, I had some that were more serious, I had some where I was kind of holding my face and just moving my head back and forth to get the blur effect on the photo. And then I had put lip gloss on my face. You can kind of see it in the photo because I wanted to see if we could get a photo where it looked like I was crying a little bit. But I ended up not really liking any of them anyways. But so that one you can see a bit more. It's a little shiny on my face. That's supposed to be a tear. And then that one's a bit more of a serious one. Again, the lip gloss on my face. But I ended up landing on this one, and I liked how this one looked for the EP, just because I felt like it sort of was a mysterious vibe to it, I suppose. I suppose it's because it was a little open to interpretation, depending on how you looked at it. You could think that I was sad about something, or I was confused, or I was turning away from something, or I was like protecting myself from something by turning away. And I think that kind of connected to the themes in a majority of the songs. So yeah, I thought it turned out cool. So that's the cover art for the EP. And now I'm going to talk about the first song that I just sang called She's Lovely. I also have this timeline of the EP, which is kind of just laying out how long it took me to come up with it and write the lyrics. I didn't write all of the lyrics and the music at the same time. For some of them, it was split up between months where I ended up coming back to some stuff that I wrote. But overall, it took about like a year and a half about to do it all. So the one we're talking about is She's Lovely, which I wrote in March 2024. I wrote the whole song in one go. So because She's Lovely is the opening track on the EP, I wanted it to describe the major themes on the EP just as much as the title track Tangled Reality does, but in a different way. So She's Lovely is written from my own perspective, looking back on a younger version of myself and being grateful for how far I've come. So if you happen to grab a program that has the lyrics in them, you can kind of look at those, and I'll be referencing some of those. So She's Lovely is an upbeat anthem that celebrates growth, emotion, and the overwhelming gratitude that I feel for every version of myself. It is a reminder that despite everything, I am something. The theme of the song has to do with accepting all of myself, even if parts of me feel like they don't mesh. The parts of me that break down and cry easily, the parts of me that find love and hope in every aspect of life, and the parts of me that doubt myself and feel separated from the experiences of others. Again, it is sung from a perspective outside of myself looking inward. So the first lyric, "Who am I without my big heart?" is a rhetorical question that I ask the older version of myself who questions why I feel emotions so strongly. It's meant to encourage my own confidence in myself and the way that I function in this world, and to ultimately never question the unique way that I experience my own life. And then... by the end of the song, She's Lovely takes on a sort of omniscient viewpoint that sings about all the versions that I have existed as, and reflects on how, regardless of what I am or what I become, I will always be glowing and crying and lovely. So some of my favorite lyrics and chords in the song, it's in E major, it's in E major, 4/4, with occasional cut time in the chorus. I love the first rhetorical question in the song just because I think it kind of sums up a lot of the themes, where it's just me reminding myself, like, who would I be without the way that I experience life and all the emotions that I feel. And I think it's just descriptive of who I am as a person, and I think it sets up the ideas that follow through the rest of the EP, since it has to do with being overwhelmed by emotions but finding the beauty in all of it. And I really liked the way that I wrote this song with the chords that I wrote. I don't know the specific names of the chords, but it has a lot of like 9ths and 11ths and 13ths in it with the weird fingerings I did. And I think they really pull at your heart in a way when I play them, because you want them to resolve so badly down to the just basic E major chord. And because they sort of resonate throughout the majority of the song, I think it turned out really cool. So yeah, that was She's Lovely. Oh, sorry, I'm mixing myself up. So I'm actually going to talk about the next song on the EP before performing it so you can all get an idea of what it is. So the second song on the EP is called My Frail Hand Caught the Sun. This is on the timeline of when I wrote it. So I wrote the lyrics for My Frail Hand Caught the Sun in October 2023, and I wrote the music for it almost a year later. So this song was originally a poem that I wrote in October 2023, and it was inspired by another poem titled Beneath the Cypress Shade by Thomas Love Peacock. So that's when I read it. I happened to just pick up this book that was in my room one day, and I was reading through it, and this was the poem that I came across. And after reading it, I found myself struck by the use of the words frail and sun in the last stanza of the poem, because I think they seem to contrast so significantly with each other in a very moving way. And so after reading that, I couldn't really get the poem out of my head, and it ended up being the inspiration for my own poem and later a new song. So even though Peacock's poem is about heartbreak, my song, My Frail Hand Caught the Sun, is about unforeseen and yet unyielding hope. It presents the image of a broken, battered hand catching the light of the sun. The hand and the sun are both symbolic of my hope and unwavering optimism, and the initial pain that's felt as I unintentionally catch the sun it represents the idea that I wasn't even aware of my own unwavering faith in good things, but my unyielding hope is always there. So it's a metaphor for the almost magnetic pull that I have towards optimism in my life. You could also interpret the broken hand catching the light of the sun as my constant appreciation for painful experiences in my life. Even if I don't understand the purpose of each experience at the moment, I still grab hold of them and always lean on hope despite everything going on around me. So My Frail Hand Caught the Sun is an embodiment of that sentiment. And now I will sing the song. I'm going to sing it before I talk about my favorite lyrics and chords, just so you can hear them in context. So. Hey guys. I caught the sun with one frail hand, while the other was buried in dirt. It burned. My cries were silenced with flame. It consumed me without words. And yet I turned to look at the light that swallowed me amidst the pain, the burning of flesh, a thought so free. I caught him So that one was My Frail Hand Caught the Sun. And some of my favorite lyrics and musical parts on this song, happen to do with the way that I connected the lyrics to the way that the chord progressions went. So none of this was intentional. It kind of just happened. But it turned out kind of cool. So it was interesting putting a poem to song because I had never done that before. I had never written a song after I wrote a poem. But I ended up having this part of the song. It burned, my cries were silenced with flame. The way that I wrote the music, it hit a minor chord and it burned, and while I was in the studio recording it, I was just recording random harmonies, and I ended up creating this cool dissonant chord, again, unintentional. But as you all just heard, it was dissonant. It sounded pretty cool, I thought. And I thought it really fit the emotion in the song, along with the part after it when it said, my cries were silenced with flame. You could hear in the music when it was like, my cries were silenced with flame, it consumed me. So it like goes up as I sing cries, so self-explanatory. So it's just, those are kind of the ways that the lyrics connect with the way that the music moves throughout the song. Another example is, I would play the video. I didn't test doing the audio on this before, so I don't know if it's gonna, it's not gonna play. I guess I could turn my computer up really loud. Hopefully you can hear. So just to give you an example of what I just talked about. And then another lyric that I thought turned out really cool was, and yet I turned to look at the light that swallowed me. When I sang this in the song, I'm talking about the light swallowing me, which is symbolic for hope or optimism, and I sing a major chord. So it sounds very happy and very bright out of, compared to the dissonance that just played. So again, just since you all heard it before. So that was a major chord. I thought it sounded really pretty when I recorded it, and it sounded very like, the sky was opening almost when that chord comes about. And I think that represents the optimistic feel of the rest of the song. So. Oh, and one more thing in the song that I thought turned out really cool was the trumpet solo that Chase Wampler played. Everyone get Chase Wampler in his great trumpet performer. It just, that was it. It just sounded really cool when I recorded it. We kind of layered a lot of different takes that we did. So thanks for doing that. So, the third song on the EP is called Blessed Ode to Fire, Fear, and Hope. And this song was previously titled Doors Open, Mouths Closed. And it was also the most revised song on my EP. The first version of the song resulted in lyrics that describe my anxiety. So imagery such as a burning heart, a warm face, weeping, and feeling unsteady all contribute to that theme. However, the more that I revised the lyrics, the more I found myself adding positive statements such as, I know that it will pass, and feels so pretty, and of course, Blessed Ode. So I was struggling with what I was trying to say as I was writing this song, and I didn't quite know where to go with it. So once I rewrote the music and the chords to a major key, I felt better about how the overall message of the song felt. It was originally written in a very somber way. I don't have an example of it because I trashed it immediately. but I didn't like it. So I wrote it in a major key, and I decided that I shouldn't force the song to be a darker version of itself when it didn't feel right. So I shifted the focus of the music from feeling misunderstood and lonely to being thankful for having such a unique experience of life in all of its forms. So though the lyrics still feel melancholic, the major key, the rhythmic 7/8 time signature, and the lilting melody is meant to reflect the more positive notes of the song and a sort of perpetual push forward through life's pain. Thus, the title, Blessed Ode to Fire, Fear, and Hope, reflects a song about being grateful for discomfort and the unknown while holding on to hope despite it all. So now I will perform the song. Doors are open, but our mouths are So some of the things that I want to mention from that song, first of all, I think the most obvious one was that you can hear that I had other vocals going on in the recording. That wasn't a mistake I made, right? That was intentional. I layered different, different takes that I recorded with the vocals. I wanted to, I think I panned them in a stereo image, because I wanted it to sort of surround you, so it wasn't just one main vocal, it was kind of a cloud of them, I suppose. And some of one musician in particular that I was referencing when I was making this song was Adrienne Linker. I don't know if any of you know her. Beautiful, beautiful songs. Make me cry. But she has a very sort of almost broken soprano sounding thing, a very emotional, distraught sometimes. And she layers her vocals in a way that really make it pop in the mix, and she was a big inspiration for the song that I wrote. So I wrote the original version of this song in March 2024, which was the more somber one that I wrote that I wasn't very happy with. And I went back to it in July over the summer and rewrote it. So some of the favorite lyrics from this are, "Where is my religion in this war?" which is a metaphor for where is my hope when anxiety overtakes me. Another thing I want to mention is that in most of my songwriting, you can notice that I sort of reference God or religion or just different, I just sort of reference that a lot. I think I was kind of curious writing these songs why I kept going back to those metaphors and ideas and themes and stuff. And I was just sort of reflecting on how did I get introduced to music and why do I write the way that I do. And I think it had a lot to do with how growing up I was in church, and me and my sibling, Polly, we went to church. And so I was exposed to sacred music from very early on. And my first piano teacher, who taught me for about 10 to 12 years, she was the church pianist, so I did a lot of accompanying the choir and playing the hymns for that. And I think it was just really interesting thinking about that, how that sort of translated to the way that I write music now, and how even when I'm not meaning to, just those sorts of themes find themselves in anything that I write. So another favorite lyric from this song, "The doors are open but our mouths are closed." Again, that was from the original version of the song, which was mainly about my anxiety and the way that I experienced that. So I thought that since that was the last lyric of the song, it felt very melancholic, but it contrasts with the major chords in the music and the fade out, how you're just kind of left in this sort of lullaby almost with a lot of the repetitive major chords and that sort of thing. And I was just very happy with how that turned out. I think it created a very comforting song, I think, when it was all finished. So fourth song on the EP is titled Dusty Blue, and I would consider Dusty Blue to be a sort of outlier on this EP, as it is the only song that I wrote for a very specific set of people, which are my grandparents. Though it still includes themes of love, family, and connection, it really is just about my grandma and grandpa and imagery of their home. So that was when I wrote it. I wrote it in January 2024. So this is just giving you an idea of the images that were in my mind when I wrote the song. I think I was feeling kind of homesick in January 24, so I was just thinking a lot. These are from my grandparents' home. They live out in the country. They had these massive pine trees in their backyard. So you'll hear in the lyrics, or if you have the program, you can see in the lyrics how it references these, like the blue laundry room, the semi-trucks, and the shop out back, and my mom's childhood bedroom are all sort of fixed in my memory no matter how far away I am from that house. So these are just more pictures of the pine trees. And these are the big semis in the shop. My grandpa's a truck driver, so he doesn't just have a truck. This is the blue laundry room, iconic. It's not actually like mainly blue, it has blue stripes, but I think just that color kind of came about in the feelings that I felt when I was thinking about that. And there's obviously some blue in there. So that's that, the blue laundry room. My grandpa's hat, it's blue. And then I'll talk about some of the favorite lyrics after I perform the song. So before we perform, Dusty Blue is dedicated to my wonderful family and of course my grandma and grandpa. So Shawn and Dominic, you can come on. You'll just have to give us a second. I have to tune my guitar a little bit, make sure everything's okay. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves. to be here. Thank you all for putting up with my awkwardness. So the Dusty Blue. Some of my favorite lyrics from it, again, it's just the imagery that I had from my grandparents' home. So trucks, metal, and mousetraps, that's referencing the back shop. I remember when Polly and I were, my sibling Polly and I were younger. I remember that shop being ginormous and just going in the back and finding the old dirt ground, and there were these massive semis that I would be walking by, and then there were mousetraps, and it felt like I was in this weird, mysterious place I wasn't supposed to be. But that's all stuck in my head. So this is also just curious. This is kind of the first song I wrote about my family, which I thought was kind of cool. It wasn't intentional, but again, as I mentioned earlier, I think it just came out of being homesick, having a rough year, and just using music to kind of comfort myself in that way. So. Also, fun thing to mention, when I recorded this song, I will say, this was my least favorite out of the ones I recorded. It was the first one that I did for MMP 430. Is that the class? 430 last semester? Oh. It was the music production design class that we did, where we recorded everything. So I recorded this EP. The first song I did was Dusty Blue. The first session that we had actually was a ginormous fail. We set everything up, and then we couldn't figure out something, I don't even remember, with the studio. And so we were there for 3 or 4 hours and ended up being well, and then we tore everything down and came back 2 weeks later and did the same thing. So it was kind of a messy recording process. I think there were some things I could have done differently. If you go ahead and listen to the EP on Spotify or Apple Music, it came out yesterday. If you listen to that recording, something such as the cymbals or the crash cymbal, I think there's one part of the song where the crash cymbal is supposed to be very present in the mix, and it's just you can't hear it. And I don't think I didn't mic it at all, so that was sort of one mistake, just reflecting back on what I did. But yeah, it's just curious to think about the things I'm looking back on now and how I'm oh, I should have done that, or oh, I could do this, and it's well, too late. So, I want to thank you all again for coming. This is nearing the end. The end is nigh. I'm going to talk about Tangled Reality before I perform it, so we can kind of leave everything with the music in our minds rather than talking about it all. So, Tangled Reality was the first song that I wrote for the EP, and it ended up being the culmination of every other theme present in the other songs. It is written in D flat major, which is my favorite key, by the way, with a 4/4 time signature, and the song is meant to portray the conflicting emotions, experiences, and thoughts throughout my life. With that in mind, I am an incredibly optimistic person, and I find the constant opposition in what I feel versus what I experience to be very beautiful. Life is made up of highs and lows, and that is what makes this reality that we live in both joyful and painful, hopeful and discouraging, calm but chaotic, abundant yet unforgiving, and all tangled up together in a wonderfully incredible tapestry of our time on Earth together. So ultimately, the most painful experiences that we have can help us grow, and at the same time, all good things must come to a bittersweet end. So, some of my favorite lyrics from this song, which you are about to hear. Oh yeah, it was the first song I wrote. It was in May 2023. Some of my favorite lyrics are, day breaks me open, sometimes I cry. I thought that was just a very interesting image in your head, like daylight or the morning breaking you. And then to feel alive, I must let go is just another example of the contrast in the lyrics. I think the most metal lyric I wrote is "The moon rips me open in this blessed night." I wrote that. I was like, ah, what? That's so sick. Such a cool image. So I think that's cool. And then I really like the last lyric in the song, "The roots create a symphony." I think you can interpret it in your own way. And stop. Sorry. "The roots create a symphony" is one of my favorite lyrics because you can interpret it differently. I think the way that I interpret it is that the places that you come from and the people that you've met, the people that have come into your life, the place you grew up, the places you're only in for a couple years, just everywhere that you end up and every part of you that you experience, every part of life that you experience sort of is a beautiful thing and creates a beautiful thing and sort of creates a symphony in a way. So one cool thing that you'll hear in the official version of the song is I had my friends Mary Jacobson and Julian Kane, shout out to Julian Kane, he's doing the sound. I had them record violin and viola on the song, and I don't have it tonight because I didn't want to worry about it. But the way that this song ends, I've always imagined it as a sort of dreamlike state, because it repeats the ending chords sort of over and over, and it's just this nice, I think it goes back and forth between a version of the 4 chord and the 1 chord, and it's very comforting to me. And so anyways, I recorded violin and viola to sort of kind of create the dreamlike image in my head that I was hearing, and I just spliced a lot of different takes that we took together to sort of layer the melody that I wrote over and over, so it's just this like magical, like, skies open, it's, beautiful. So just to give you an example of that, I hope everyone can hear. Yeah, so that's how that song ends on the EP, and it fades out with the strings and some humming and some vocals, and just like fades out into this beautiful image. So whenever I sing this song, I think it's sort of significant that it was the first song I wrote and it turned into this whole EP. It's just this like, it's funny because there are a lot of things in music that you can't put into words, and I think this is one of those things where it's like, why am I getting emotional? I play this song, I play this song, and it's one of my favorite songs I've ever written, and it, no, stop. Everyone dance with me so I can stop. Thank you. It's one of my favorite songs I wrote. It's really beautiful to play. I think it has a really beautiful ending. I think it'll speak for itself. Again, like music, can't really put it into words. So, thank you all again for coming. Thank you all again for coming. Oh my god, okay. Thank you all again for coming. This was a wonderful night. This means a lot to me, and music means a lot to me. And I think this whole EP is a wonderful example of that. And I think this EP is gonna carry with me for a long time. yeah, I think that's all I have to say. So. Started out the recital and I was like, great, I'm not gonna cry at all. It's gonna be fine. It's fine. Glowing and crying and lovely, right? Okay, anyways, thank you all again for coming. Yeah, so this is gonna be Tangled Reality. Give me a second to compose myself. Oh, also, to give you guys a heads up for the end of the song, we're gonna sing again together, just like we did at the beginning. So it's gonna be the same. It's gonna be very self-explanatory, not hard. So I'm gonna point at you guys. I'll tell you which note to sing, but I'm gonna point at you guys, and I'll be like, you sing this note, you sing this note. And then I think it'll be a really fun way to end the recital together, to sing together. So, okay. This is Tangled Reality. This feels really awkward. Okay.
It's created